Morning. Today is Wednesday, January 8th, and this is Devotions from St. Paul Evangelical Lutheran Church, Carlisle, Pennsylvania. I'm going to take a passage today from the prophet Isaiah, and we're going to talk just a minute about what this idea of a call is. So this is from the 6th chapter of Isaiah. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord sitting on a throne, high and lofty, and the hem of his robe filled the temple. Seraphs were in attendance. Each of them had 6 wings. With 2 they covered their faces, with 2 they covered their feet, and with 2 they flew. And they called to one another, and they said, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. The pivots on the threshold shook at the voices of those who called, and the house was filled with smoke. And I said, Woe is me, I am lost, for I am a man of unclean lips, and I live among a people with unclean lips. Yet my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. Then one of the seraphs flew to me, holding a live coal that he had taken from the altar with a pair of tongs. And the seraph touched my mouth with it and said, Now that this has touched your lips, your guilt has departed, and your sin is blotted out. Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? And then I said, Here am I. Send me. Can we be like Isaiah? Can we say, Here am I, send me? That's quite a response. But let's look at it in a little more depth and maybe a little perspective. How many of us have seen God in his temple? And I don't know how much he saw of God because God's robe filled the temple. But he saw the image of God and the glory of God, and he particularly saw the seraphs who were worshiping God. And just as a note, using the same worships that will be used later in the book of Revelations when John saw the future. So this is quite a mighty scenario for Isaiah. And his first thought is, I'm a sinner. I can't be in the presence of God. I can't do this. And it's interesting to me that the seraph was the one, but he took a live coal and he touched Isaiah on the lips and said, Your sin is blotted out. You know, we have that same promise, except it's from Jesus, that Jesus blotted out our sins when he died for us on the cross and rose again. So we're in the same state that Isaiah was when he was in this presence, in this vision. Now, think about God saying, Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? Who do you think he was talking to? Do you think he was talking just to Isaiah? Or do you think he was talking in general? Maybe to the seraphs, trying to get a consensus, get some ideas, just out loud. Who may I send? Whom can I send for us? There's certainly instances in the Bible where God went to specific people or sent angels to specific people. Abraham was one. He went to Abraham personally. He spoke to Moses personally. The angel went to Mary personally. And of those, Abraham and Mary were immediate. Okay, let's do this. Moses was more like Isaiah. I have shortcomings. I have things that I can't do. And yet, in the end, all of them went. So I think that the response that Isaiah had was a result of what the seraph had done for him to relieve him of his sins, to say they're blotted out. And it wasn't a specific reference to Isaiah when God asked, "Whom shall I send?" It was a general blast. And in that general blast are you and I. God is asking, "Whom shall I send? Who will go for us?" And he's calling to anyone who is willing. And I think that we should be willing. Now, I don't think willing means that we're all going to be like Isaiah and we're going to go out and preach hard things to powerful people. But I do think it's willing to go out and do the work of God amongst God's people. And lots of people do that now. And many people do it without even thinking that they're doing God's work. But I think for us as Christians, it's important that we have a conscious idea that God is calling us very specifically to do certain things based upon the talents, the interests, the abilities that he's given us, and that is our job, if you will, to react to that calling voluntarily and with great interest and great fervor, great enthusiasm, to do the job, whatever it is that God calls us to do. Read for yourself from chapter 6 of the book of Isaiah and see if you get the idea that God is calling all of us. And we should, like Isaiah, say, "Here am I, send me." Thank you.